Greetings, my little twistles. It is I, Gabriel Twist.
I'm Dusty.
Is that you?
I'm Amber.
You're gonna change your new name.
Dust-Bercules.
Dusty Labia.
I've had this joke that
Dusty Flange.
that I have a secondary Overwatch account called Hambercules and I only play Roadhog.
You should do that. I like bizarre, theme and roleplay game things that because the big one that everyone remembers is Let Me Solo Her. But that was just some oddball doing something for himself before that blew up, I'm just here naked with a pot on my head beating the boss because she's too hard. Okay. There's lots of that. Lots of that exists. You'll find those around in all sorts of multiplayer games where there's just someone doing a thing and committed to it. And God bless them.
We've hit the Bronson episode of the season.
Yep. This has ever felt like this, feeling like Bronson episodes.
And to be fair, I'll give them credit. Wasn't bad.
It's the best episodes are the ones where there's a very clear point and it moves toward that point. And there's a lesson there for narrative in general. Think of the ending and then get to it.
Yeah.
It's a very fucking simple goddamn piece of advice. And it really, especially with these fucking kids shows and these the X-Files Monster of the Week style things, have a thing, have an ending, and then the rest will more or less fucking fall in line. And I mean, this episode even does a little better by having basically two things going and then doing them both at once.
I enjoyed that it seemed to be a Monster of the Week episode. Yeah. And we don't get those often.
Which is strange when you think about it.
Usually it's a phenomenon or a weird thing happening, not so much a monster.
Yeah. No one wants phenomena of the week.
No.
It's fucking boring. What am I doing with a phenomena? The phenomena can be there, but it has to be, that embodied in a monster. Lightning is a phenomena.
Yeah.
And then you know what? X-Files gave some fucking weird little kid lightning powers. And they made an episode called DPO, and it's really good. Tekken's in it. And Jack Black. Jack Black.
Ow! My brain.
Right, it's not Tekken, it's Virtua Fighter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Was Jack Black playing Virtua Fighter?
No, he was yelling at the guy playing Virtua Fighter.
I see.
And the guy playing Virtua Fighter got pissed off.
It's so funny that you see headshots of Jack Black from the early times.
When he was an actor?
Yeah. And he looks looked like he's actually trying to be handsome and being a leading
He legitimately,
man.
If you go back, you can see that. You can see he had a really good, great features. He would have played amazing creeps and murderers. He had the fucking Kubrick stare down and just a bunch of his headshots. And then
just went to doo-doo butt comedy.
Yeah, I imagine it literally just being he's like that and then he smokes one marijuana. And it's just hey!
I'm wacky now!
Yeah, what if I just did this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, granted he wasn't getting a huge amount of starring roles as, sinister Jack Black. No, legit, go back.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm trying to remember, oh, God, he's in... Beyond that X-Files episode, which is really just kind of a bit part, there are a few... I know he's in The Jackal, but that's also kind of just a bit role. Even though Bruce Willis shoots his hand off with an automatic sort of machine gun thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Actor.
He's in it's some kind of one of those legal thrillers or something. I think it's one with God, what's his name? He was married to Madonna and he likes hitting journalists. A few people will know what I'm talking about, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. He was in Biodome?
I honestly don't even remember him in Biodome. And I've seen Biodome probably an unfortunate amount of times.
There's the X-Files. He was in Waterworld.
I vaguely remember him in
He
Waterworld.
was a pilot.
It is weird that he was in Waterworld.
He was in the Neverending Story 3.
I've never seen Neverending Story 3.
He was in Demolition Man. He was in Airborne. He's in so many movies that I would not think he's in.
Yeah, that's back when he was Jackson Blackington actor.
His first appearance was the Pitfall 1982 Atari 2600
I remember
commercial.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was fuck God. It'd be easier if I could remember the actor I'm thinking of. He played the, fucking main character in I Am Sam. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
No.
All right, well, fucking shit then.
Anyway, let us continue.
We're not going to talk about Jackson Blackington.
Nah, we're not the.
I kind of want that alternate Jack Black.
I do too. Because the world was robbed of having Matt Berry in Minecraft the movie, and
I think Matt Berry was saved from having.
Absolutely, but also we would have got Chicken Jockey.
I don't know what any of that is, and I refuse to look it up.
It's just a line in the movie. It's just his pronunciation, because in What We Do in the Shadows, he's like, he is the most devious bastard in all of New York City.
He doesn't pronunciate, he enunciates.
And it is so fucking good. I love him to bits. She speaks the bullshit. That is one of my favorite lines of all time.
See, I haven't seen any of What We Do in the Shadows. Most of my knowledge of him comes from, all 6 episodes of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which I've somehow turned into a Christmas tradition of just rewatching that. And it's funny every fucking time.
Most people know him from the IT Crowd.
Yeah, I didn't watch any really of the IT Crowd.
No, me neither. Either. He plays the robot in Boba Fett, which is really funny.
He plays the robot in fucking Fallout as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an amazing
shtick
voice he's got.
I hope in the next Fallout they use his voice.
Yeah, a bit more would be nice.
Because his voice is good. Anyway, this episode is called
Monster Under the Bed.
Jack Black is under my bed.
Yahoo Serious he's able to teleport between beds in Australia.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
I don't need Yahoo Serious nightmares. I just got over those.
He rubs his head around on the floor until it gets all staticky, and then he pokes his head out and it absorbs chip crumbs and other things, and that's what he uses to feed. Yeah. You're not allowed to look at him, though. Don't look at him.
No, I don't want to look at him.
No, because then you'll get caught up in his hair.
He's like Slender Man.
And then, you'll get caught up in his hair, and you'll join, the chorus of screams that live in Yahoo Serious's hair. Just don't look. Ugh. Just let him eat your biscuit crumbs. It's fine.
That's fine. It's fine.
So we get an exterior shot of the lighthouse with lightning, as, again, and Bronson sleeping and, doing the sleep talk routine about dust and filth and needing a vacuum. And then the fucking camera sort of, tracks down from, a snoozing Bronson to fucking go under the bed. And then, in the darkest recess under the bed and the inky blackness, we just see these 2 red eyes and hear some, monster noises.
And the series does something it's never done before. It makes the title screen cut to, a comic look.
Yeah.
Which was so bizarre because nothing about the episode was comic-like.
Yeah, not really, any more than any of the other weird shit that the shows have done. It didn't kind of have any...
No.
It didn't show up again. There was no sort of Bronson's acting like a comic character he likes or anything like that.
And then
sort of did it and was like, all right.
And then the episode, most of the other ones that have been going on recently, just go straight from the opening title into the episode. And there's a big storm. The lighthouse is rumbling.
The funniest, and then because they use a composite shot to have some sand in front of the lighthouse collapse. There's this earthquake running thing, and I think that might be part of a bigger plot. I don't necessarily think this was necessarily tied to this.
I think it is, and we see the bank erodes.
Yeah, it looked like a tokusatsu shot,
dusty looking clumps making wibbly wobbly noises.
Some dust bunny. It sounds kind of like the fucking Gremlins before they eat after midnight.
Yeah, it does. And they're all wobbling around. Linda wakes up and is like, "This must mean something." Pete's going on about it being an omen and a sign, and he keeps looking at women posters in his bedroom, and it keeps rumbling more intensely. So he thinks that it's upset at him for liking these women.
Yeah, I couldn't because I couldn't figure out where he landed on what the sign was supposed to be. Because this is how it used to be in the ancient times, the idea was that everybody dreamed the future, but only some people, it wasn't like some people had the ability to dream the future. Everyone did, but only some people could interpret it.
Right.
That was the skill, that was the sight, the ability to be blessed with it, knowing what that gibberish meant, And so Pete's struggling with that as he's just looking at random posters of chicks, and the earthquakes continue. And then, they're not related, so how are you going to interpret those 2 things is anyone's guess, really.
And then Faye and Tony are kissing, and the earthquake stops. And
that was an adult joke.
Tony looks at her and it goes, "Did the earth move for you too?" And Faye just looks at him like, "You're an idiot."
I can feel the delight as like probably Snapper who was writing this episode. I'm just gonna guess. Where it's like, I gotta sneak in a fucking little bit for the adults in this one.
And then Bronson screams. So they run upstairs. They find Pete and Linda already in his room. And he's like, a monster tried to reach up and grab Teddy. There's a monster under the bed.
Yeah.
And Faye's like, Bronson, there's no such thing as monsters. Go back to bed. You're an idiot. Essentially, like, it's Faye that was always the one that's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, that's a good dynamic to have.
She also hasn't seen a lot compared to everyone else.
It does make some degree of sense.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a solid dynamic to have, like, oh yeah, all this stuff will like happen. Sometimes Tony sees bits of it and thinks that maybe something's going on. But as far as Faye's concerned, it's just kids talking shit.
I don't know what Faye sees in Tony here. He has the IQ of a boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Tony checks under the bed and he's like, Bronson, there's no such thing as monsters. He goes under the bed and he starts screaming. And Bronson's like, Dad, oh no, the monster's got him. And he comes out with a banana. And he's like, it's so dusty under here. We're going to talk about
that. A banana is not a dust.
We're going to talk about that cleaning roster. And it cuts to the next morning and they're all downstairs. Faye's at the table. She's staring at food, obviously.
Still
having issues. And they're talking about a cleaning roster. And they have it. And it's literally a calendar. And they have stamps of all the children's faces.
Yeah.
And those stamps are really good.
They're intricate.
And it's like, did you go to a stamp maker for this, Tony?
He must have. It's the only fucking way. Like, these days, you could just probably upload a picture to stampsface.com and then get that. But, like, in the olden times, that would have been... You would have had to have gone in with, like, a fucking picture that was good and paid somebody, probably at a rational amount of money, to, like, hand chisel a fucking mold for your fucking family face stamp thing. You know what that feels like? That feels like one of those, like, Christmas gifts that, like, it would have been a pop-up mall boutique.
Yeah.
In, like, probably around, like, when computers were starting to really become useful.
Oh, God. I remember face to things were everywhere.
Put face on mug.
Yeah, face on everything. Want your loved ones on a mug? Want your loved ones on, like, a car hanger? I don't know.
I just want a bare ass mug. They're really strict on it being faces.
And Faye's like keeps looking at her food, and she looks sick, and she's obviously pregnant because she's been talking about kids trying to talk to kids to Tony, but Tony's an idiot.
Well, didn't she figure that out last episode?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like she was trying to explain. She's been trying to tell Tony that she's pregnant,
and Tony doesn't believe in condoms. He raw dogs it every time.
It's the soul of an artist.
Yeah,
because like art is in knowing when to pull out.
Christ.
You just gotta... It's worked for me all these years.
So, like, they talk about the cleaning roster and how it's Bronson's turn because, like, everyone else has done it.
Well, yeah, everyone else has done theirs, and then Bronson kept trading his turns for, like, nonsense. So he'd go, okay, I'll do yours next week if you let me get off this. And now it's like, okay.
It's caught up to him.
Yeah, like, this bubble's burst, Bronson. Like, the debt collector's here, which is very funny.
So Faye runs off to be sick because, again, pregnant. So
Babies!
She's having morning sickness.
Because the suffering of pregnancy is fucking hilarious.
And Port Narenda starts rumbling again, that's worrying. That's a little concerning.
It just means, like, the fucking elder god buried down there is, set to arise.
And, like, Linda's studying, I think, reincarnation, because Bronson calls it the wrong name.
Yeah, like...
But she never says what it actually is, so I assume it's reincarnation.
Because, she just goes, this must mean something in the stars. And there's a lot of, like, meaning talk with what she's doing. And then Pete mocks her for studying astrology, but, like, I don't think... She's sort of, like, the way she reacts doesn't... Yeah, I don't think she's studying astrology.
No.
And then, Bronson says something about reincarnation. I don't know what the fuck that's about. And then... And
then they make fun of Pete because he has no bitches.
Yeah.
Because he broke up with Fiona because he's a dumb shit.
Yep.
And then the door knocks, and it's the Gribbles. And it's Gribble Senior and the Gribble Boys.
Yeah,
and,
it's all the Gribbles.
And they're trying to sell Tony on earthquake inspection. It's free, real estate earthquake inspection. And Tony's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, because he, like... like the Gribbles are chatting amongst themselves a little bit, and they're like, basically, they're trying to find cracks in the, in the light, or quote, find cracks, unquote, in the lighthouse, and then to have it declared uninhabitable, so they can kick the. We're back to we have to get the twists out of the house kind of deal. Because Gribble was focused elsewhere for season 3.
Think that gold is in there? Why does he want the?
Yeah, I feel like that is something.
Because early on he wanted to redevelop the land.
Yeah. And that's I'm guessing that's still the thing, but it's also, it is a little bit vague, especially in light of how much other shit Gribble gets up to and does. He's also had an ice cream store and shit. He does seem to have a bunch of other stuff. I can understand if he's that land away from owning the whole of Port Noranda, which he'll then sell to a Saudi fucking tourism company or something. That would make sense. But it's just, and look, maybe that's the case. It's just not been sort of adequately established. It's still just that vague thing of me wanty.
Yeah. Tony's like, don't bother me. The sculpture's not ready yet because he thinks they're there to get his sculpture.
Yeah, he's doing a sculpture.
He's doing a sculpture for them.
Gribbles commissioned something.
And so they get that. In the meantime, Bronson goes to clean. And everything's already cleaned. It's all done. It's spotless. The bed under the bed's gone and everything. And he's like, what's going on? Faye tries to talk to Tony once again. And is like, kids, blah, blah. Tony's like, essentially, I fucking hate kids.
Yeah, he's just, Faye brings up kids and Tony's just like, oh, God, they're just such a dread.
They can be so demanding. And then Bronson runs out and goes, I demand to know what's going on.
That was actually solid. I did appreciate that. Just bitching about kids being a fucking demanding nuisance, and then just out comes Bronson to demand to know why everyone did the cleaning he was supposed to do.
Yeah. And Tony follows him in, and he's like, oh, good work. And he's like, I didn't do it. And he's like, what do you mean you didn't do it? He's like, Pete and Linda must have done it. And
yeah, I know.
What?
Imagine being a dad and having to logically process the idea that your children who hate cleaning will have snuck in and done somebody else's cleaning, and the child that hates cleaning is complaining about that cleaning being. You just be like, look, I'm having you're fucking with me, and I don't care enough about it to try and work out why. Yeah. This is stupid, and you're wasting my time. You horrendous little demand.
So they finish that off, and Tony goes on his way, and Bronson's like, Tony kind of makes his Bronson, where you haven't just moved at all, have you?
Yeah,
and
it's not just all under the bed.
And Bronson's on the closet. He's like, no, it's not in here. And as he leaves, he unlocks his secret cupboard, and there's inside there's jars, sample jars you get at the doctor, when you piss in the jar, and lots of those with labels on and stuff. And he's like, oh, at least they didn't get my smell sucker. And there's some contraption in there that he calls his smell sucker.
It looks like it looks like one of those backpack vacuums that's been modified.
Yeah. So that's going to come into play in a later episode.
Yeah, because the subtitle said snail sucker, which it could also have been, to be fair. But
considering I know the episode, it's definitely smell sucker.
Oh no! When you went back and we looked at it, it's definitely a smell sucker, and B, he just has jars of odors.
I'm assuming that these subtitles are either done from early AI or someone who doesn't speak English.
It really could be either, because there was one of those AIs that turned out to be just 1,000 Indian guys in a suit.
Oh, that's so funny.
I feel like if there's a few of them, they're going to just turn out to be that. Which is probably a more productive use of their time than trying to scam old ladies, but still, I do love this AI is just Indian guys, and you shake it and all these Indian guys drop out and run away, yeah.
In the meantime, a window, opens in the lighthouse, a reality window into a blue sky area and a medieval.
Yeah, you say window, it's a door in reality opens up and what looks like, I don't know, an angel in a knight helmet just pokes its head in. Which again, this has got to be whatever the fucking series
and
arc is.
Bronson's who are you? Did you clean my room? And they're like, me clean?
Yeah. Yeah, because I described it as a multi-dimensional entity pops in through a gap in reality and starts to ask a question.
And so Linda and Pete burst in, and the thing just vanishes really quickly. And they're all upset, and they're like, Bronson, why did you touch our stuff? Why did you clean our rooms?
Yeah, as much as I don't I wouldn't have wanted to have done cleaning back then, I would have not wanted my brother to be poking around my room and tidying things up.
And like Bronson's like, no, I didn't do it. Like, you know, and he's like, look at my room, and they're like, oh,
Yeah, like that's one of the good things. Because it's like, I want you to look at me. Do you think I would have gone out of my way to clean your mess?
yeah.
And like, yeah, that's weird. Basic reasoning skills.
So then Tony like calls out because he needs the kids to come with him to help deliver the sculpture. They leave Bronson home alone, and they're all like, you know, Bronson, you got to clean up. And it's like, what else has the kid got to clean?
Yeah, actually,
The
that's
rest
a
of the
good
house
point.
looks pretty clean.
Because it's like basically, yeah, they were like, clean your room. It's like, that's valid because, you know, but that's also it's all done now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just use the computer. Just, I don't know, learn to masturbate. You know, that'll fucking come in handy.
But yeah,
later.
they leave him alone, and we see little dust clumps again once form,
Yeah.
and then we see like red, dark eyes in the dark appear.
It's kind of like the eyes in the dark is a little bit like the fucking wolf from Neverending Story. Like that's kind of the vibe that they're going for there. You know, just like these gleaming red eyes, and that's all you can see. You know, it's black red eyes.
The twists arrive at the Port Noranda beachside to meet the Gribbles to deliver the sculpture, and they're talking about having commissioned it for the Gribbles all-weather repair service that they're starting, and Matron's not very happy that they're paying the twists
Valid.
for a sculpture.
Yeah, I mean, because one of the funnier things about the series is as much as like Gribble hates, like, you know, largely kind of does hate the twists, he also has commissioned a surprising number of works.
A lot, yeah.
You know?
I think he like actually likes Tony, because he's definitely shown that side a few
like,
times.
I feel like he would rather, like, because the thing about Gribble is he does, you know, just 100% believe that he's right.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, regardless of how stupid the rest of it is, and he's trying to get Tony to fucking understand this. So yeah, he's like, he's commissioned Tony to make one of his, you know, sculptures that is what looks like a bunch of umbrella stands fused together with umbrellas that have his all-weather, you know, repair service emblazoned on it.
And
like Matron points out that the repair service doesn't exist.
yeah, because that's Gribble Jr. asks, he's like, do we actually have a repair service? And they're like, no, it's just so we can discover fault line cracks in the lighthouse and then, you know, make it uninhabitable for tenants living there. So yeah, it's a front to get in the lighthouse. Go back to Bronson, and he's like looking around. He's like, it's too clean. And
Yeah, there's like no dust on the
no
walls
dust
or
on the
anything.
walls and things. Then he hears noises, and he calls out if Pete and Linda are home. And no, it's we see the monster. It is a big lint monster. And it's really well done.
It has a kind of like broke era 80s Doctor Who quality to it.
Yeah.
Like it is a solid costume. It's a guy in a costume, but it's a solid costume. And basically, you know, the lint monster lurches out from behind the post where the eyeballs were seen. Like Bronson screams. The lint monster like walks through Bronson, leaving a bunch of lint stuck in
It
his mouth.
phases through him, and like Bronson's holding his teddy, and
Yeah.
after it phases through, it's gone. Because there's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Like, rapid knocking. So Bronson opens the door, and it is the Gribble kids now dressed up in like jumpsuits with Gribbles.
Pseudo Ghostbuster quality, yeah.
All weather repair services on them, and they're like, you know, we're here to inspect the lighthouse, you know, for earthquake damage, blah blah blah. And Bronson's like, oh, come in,
Yeah.
because he's happy to have people to help with the monster.
And it's funny too because he says there's a lint monster, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can like explore lint monsters as well.
Yeah,
So they're going like basically through the lighthouse, you know, just putting fucking levels and tape measures on every, you know, wall and shit, and just talking about big cracks they
and they even
find.
have a chisel. At one point, he's
Yeah.
like, give me the chisel, and you hit ching 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 ching.
Yeah, they're like-
he's rapidly trying to carve the wall.
They call a window a structural fault, which I did like.
And Bronson's like, it's a window.
Yeah.
To the untrained eye, it may seem. So they're going through bedroom to bedroom. After Linda's bedroom, which is the second one, because they go to Pete's first, Bronson's like, oh, by process of elimination, it must be in my room. And they go into the room, and they're like, haha, you know, monster, and like they're like holding the levels like a machine gun and stuff. And then the monster, they just see the monster.
Yeah, it is in there.
It's just in there.
Yeah, like that's the funny part. It's like, oh, where are you, monster? And then they just look over and it's like, monster. And the monster starts like vacuuming up all their stray items and lint.
They scream
Yeah.
and run away. Which, as you would. Because, like, the Gribbles haven't seen much, like, monster-ish things. They've been involved in some weird stuff, but
Yeah,
no
also,
monsters.
like, you don't know it's only going to have you, like, lint and stray items.
That thing's gonna kill me.
Yeah,
I'd be out of bed.
maybe I'm stray items. I don't know.
So they run out and they're like, forget it, there's nothing wrong with the lighthouse.
Keep it, yeah.
Bronson goes in and Teddy's lying on the bed and he's deboned.
Yeah,
All the stuffing is sucked out of him.
It's fucking eating the fucking teddy fluff.
So Bronson's pissed. He's not
Proceeds
happy.
to suit up.
He suits up, yeah. He's got a vacuum back on his back. He's
Those
got
backpack vacuums are
a
good,
dust
man.
mask.
Yeah.
And he's like, gotta fight.
Because I have one of those older houses that is like 90% dust. God, I hate it.
Ugh.
Like it's just like you can vacuum every day. It doesn't matter. You turn around and it's just the dust's back.
We cut back to the beach and Linda's like, Faye's about to drop the baby bombshell and she looks to where Pete is and Pete's like wandered off to some girls who are on the beach.
Yeah, there's like 3 girls minding their own business, so Pete has to go bother them.
Because they harassed them. And Faye comes up to Tony and she's like, talking about. She's like, Tony, I want to ask you something. Tony's like, I've been thinking about children. They're like sculptures. You invest so much time into them, and then bang, they don't belong to you anymore. And then Faye once again gets put off and doesn't tell him.
Yeah. And Bronson's like back at the lighthouse, enacting his plan, and he's stolen a pillow and gutted it, and is using the innards of the pillow to lead like a trail downstairs to where he'll be hiding with like the backpack vac.
We go back to Pete and he's like trying to chat up the girls.
Oh, God.
And he's just like, he's like, oh, yeah.
You like sandcastles? Because the girls are making some kind of sandcastle.
And he says like, then he says a name. I forgot the first name. The second name's like Sasha. Because he says like, like Ashley?
Yeah.
Sasha? And she's like, it's Phaedra.
It was like Sadra or something.
Yeah.
It was like Sandra and it's Sadra. Which I get like, it sounds insane, but that is, I've had conversations like that in Australian schools. Where like there's always some girl with some weird fucking name that's spelled weirdly.
And Linda walks over because like, she's seeing his brother is a...
He's trying to say that he likes sandcastles so much people call him Sandman Pete.
Yeah, people call me Sandman Pete. No, they don't.
No, they don't. Nobody does. Nobody calls anybody that.
And the girls, like, Linda starts making a big deal of, like, how he's bothering them. And they get up and start leaving. He's like, oh, where are you going? And they're like, we got to go before the storm hits.
Yeah.
Bye, Greg.
Yeah.
And then calls him, like, 2 wrong names.
Yeah, bye, Greg. Yeah, see you, Tim.
And he's like, it's Pete, actually. Where are you going? I can show you some sandcastle designs. Where, Pete? Where have you got these designs?
Yeah, like where?
This isn't now. You don't have a phone. You can't just go on the
internet.
internet.
Yeah, look. Yeah, I can't like just lie and say, yeah, here, look at my sandcastles.
He's got a swatch book of sandcastles.
And also, like, I don't think these women, I don't think their lives are about sandcastles.
No.
It's not like you're at one of those like sandcastle competitions, where like there's like, oh yeah, I've spent 6 days building this amazing sand sculpture. Like that, you might go.
Pete was lucky to have Fiona because she just liked him.
Yeah.
Now he has to try.
Yeah, now he has
and he's
nothing.
going up to random women who, she's making a sandcastle. She must all be about sandcastles. That's not how humans work.
No. That's barely...
I ride the bus sometimes. That doesn't mean I'm all about the bus.
Woman, yeah. Like, no, that's... Because you see this, like, just mode of thought so often where it's like, oh, yeah, you're doing a thing. That means you're like the Silver Era Batman villain of that thing. You're obviously, like, fucking,
I'm the Sandler.
Yeah. You doing? Did I ever see you holding like a cup of coffee? Congratulations, Coffee Joe. It's like, yeah, that's. It's like, no, I have. Believe it or not, this was only just something I was doing today as a lark. Like probably not like sandcastle obsessives.
Tony's still talking to Faye, and she's a bit ill, and she's like, Tony's like, oh, Faye, what's wrong? You look, and Faye butts in and goes, pregnant. I'm pregnant. And the storm whips up and Tony's like, I'm going to be a father again. I find that sentence always very funny because you are a father right now, in fact.
Yeah.
You didn't stop being a father because your children got a bit older. You are still a father.
Yeah.
But those ones don't matter anymore.
Oh, no.
The new one matters.
You can cast those aside. I mean, look, all right, Linda, there's probably some hope for Linda. Pete may, find his way in the world yet. Bronson is, The sad thing is, like, I've thought this a lot about a lot of, like, TV characters over the past few years. Like, Bobby Hill would have absolutely fucking killed it in, like, a fucking, TikTok era. Like, he would have had a huge fucking following on TikTok. He'd probably been making money, I mean, that would have just broken Hank's brain. And look, I kind of don't blame him on that one. But, like, similar to Bronson, you put a camera on that little fuckwit and he's going to run around and do something that people will look at.
Yeah.
And he has no shame.
That's true.
That's the key element here, is you have to do something that anybody else wouldn't do for very sensible reasons. But nonetheless, it can be compelling to watch because it is fascinating to watch the shameless do things. Because you're just like, wow, look at that. It's like watching an octopus use its camouflage. It's like nature and all its like grotesquerie can sometimes just be incredibly hypnotic.
Bronson, in the meantime, is nearly finished his
seasoning,
his trap,
his
and he rolls up his shirt, and he has like lint in his belly button, like an alarming amount.
When I say when you say lint, it's not like fucking like belly button lint. It's like something you'd buy from Lincraft for like $5. It's a pincushion basically, just in his navel.
And he puts that down. And he's like, he can't
resist that.
Can't resist that.
At least now the monster won't have to suck his belly button.
Oh. So the monster comes down the stairs and it's slurping up the stuffing, and then Bronson's like, attacks it with the vacuum he's got plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
And he's like, he tries to say hasta la vista, but
I think he says Visto or hustle or something.
Something weird.
Yeah.
And he starts sucking the monster. The monster's like, getting sucked up.
It's actually working. Yeah.
But Bronson, this is the shortest cord in existence.
It's incredibly short for a backpack vacuum because those are quite long cords. Because they're for like janitorial work. Like,
so the backpack unplugs from the wall.
Yeah.
And Bronson's like, oh no. And then
it's like when the umbilical cables go.
The monster is angry. It is being sucked. Yeah. It is the sucker, not the sucky. So it starts sucking Bronson, and it's like starts like,
how dare you make me a bottom?
Yeah. So the monster fights
back.
Wait,
is it bottoms if you suck the dick, or is that? Because like I get
the bottom is the submissive.
I just feel like, I mean, like, because there are submissive ways to have a dick stuck down your throat, but there are also very aggressive ways to suck a dick.
It depends on the matter of what you're doing. Yes, that's correct.
I suppose, yeah. So it's more of a state of mind than necessarily physical positioning.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're having your throat fucked, that's a bottom.
Yes.
If you're like holding someone down and sucking their dick and they're going, hey, what are you doing? Stop. That's a top.
That's correct.
Okay, right.
So it's following him up the stairs, and it is like forcefully sucking pieces of his clothes off. Like it sucks the bottom of his shoes off.
Yeah, it gets one of his shoes. It sucks his pants off at one point.
It follows him all the way up the stairs to the top of the lighthouse, and he says an incredible line. Please don't kill me. I'm too alive to die.
That is... Like, the Bronson's weird fucking malapropisms are, like, the best feature of him, and they're also one of the few things that has been consistent across every iteration of Bronson. And that is a solid... Like, this is what happens. This is you can get really good jokes to occur in a moment completely naturally if you think about character. I'm too alive to die.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's fucking solid. Like it's one of the things you get with Homer an awful lot is when you establish him as being a certain kind of dumbass. It lets you have him be a dumbass in situations, and you can get some really good jokes out of it. Like one of the best examples of that was like the Lonely Lumpkin episode, and he just keeps saying these really sad things, but they're also really funny if you were delivering it as an ironic gag. It's just he isn't. Like when she says, "Hey, you're as like smart as you are, handsome," and he just goes, "Hey!" It's like that's funny as fuck, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah,
it's this perfect fucking character joke.
So the monster has got him cornered in the top of the lighthouse, and it looks like it's about to get him. And then we cut out, and it's a pretty nice shot of an umbrella, one of the Gribble umbrellas that got whipped off the sculpture.
Yeah, because the gods are displeased with like
when Tony was like, "I'm gonna be a father," and it started thundering and shaking.
No,
Tony, your line must not continue. And we see an umbrella, and it's flying towards the lighthouse, and it strikes the side of the lighthouse, which alerts Bronson, hey, it's really windy outside.
Yeah, and he's up in the glass bit of the lighthouse
Yeah,
now.
like the very top.
Yeah.
So he opens the window, and the monster starts disintegrating because it's getting sucked out.
Yeah, it's like when it's windy outside and you open one window, it's chaos. It's bad luck.
Especially the top of a lighthouse.
Yeah, I got to assume that's just like, because that's higher than like,
on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
With the ocean. It's going to be windy.
Yeah. That's like proper wind.
Yeah. So the monster gets sucked out, and Bronson's sitting there laughing and going, that's for killing Teddy. To which, the Twists are driving home, and they see the Gribbles run across the road, and they're screaming and run away. And Tony's like, odd boys.
Yeah, there's some strange kids.
And he's like, Faye's like trying to tell the Tony's trying to tell the announcement, and Faye's like, let's wait till we're back, and everyone's together. Yeah. And so they get back to the house, and they just hear, Bronson, what have you done? And Bronson runs downstairs, and there is crap everywhere. There's dust absolutely everywhere. And they're like, I thought you were going to clean. And he freaks out, and he starts like cleaning up and grabbing dust and putting it in his pants for some reason. He starts stuffing it down his pants.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that to the thing that had like not two moments before it like sucked my pants off.
God, no. Pete and Linda are pretty happy. They're like, we're never going to have to clean again.
Yeah.
And the episode ends with like it goes towards the cabinet, and you see under the cabinet red eyes appear, and you're like, oh, and then crap loads of red eyes appear, like they just popping up.
Yeah. I like that we never really find out what the entity actually is. No. Is it dust? I don't think it's dust. It's just some kind of like focal point.
Usually there is a focal point of like the lightning strikes the lighthouse, so something happens, but there was nothing like that.
No, it's just
like there was rumbling.
Yeah.
There was a storm.
I mean, it might be that because it's like the all the elder god shit about when they're active, weird shit just starts kicking off because they fuck up like the fucking bits and pieces of reality. So nutters start getting nuttier, cultists start getting active, werewolves abound. So yeah, I suppose it's just like so there's a crack in reality and some shit's getting through.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think for a Bronson episode, it was really good because Bronson episodes can be very hit and miss depending on his writing and where the episode goes. I think for the most part, the thing I don't like about Bronson episodes is generally Bronson sees thing, knows thing, no one believes him.
Yeah.
Whereas that was kept very short in this part.
Yeah, because they had other shit for the family to do that was relevant. So like they knew to like have they're doing that thing where it's like, can you have really a whole episode supported by Bronson fighting a dust monster? No. Okay, so we're gonna deal with the fucking Faye and Tony thing, which had been building. And that gave them good time to get away from like what was going on. Slide the Gribbles in there with a scam. That's always fair, a fair way to eat some time. But it didn't try to give everybody equal quantities of time. And that's important. Because what was Pete and Linda's shit? Like maybe 60 seconds worth of screen time.
Yes.
And it was appropriate. It laid some groundwork. It's like, oh yeah, there's stuff going on with them. They didn't feel the need to make it some overly complicated fucking thing. And the fucking, the Faye shit is like, yeah, that's just, she's been trying to tell him, here's the episode where she tries a couple more times and finally fucking manages to blurt it out. That had a start, a middle, and an end. Bronson versus the Dust Monster. Start, middle, end. All of it flowed together, all of it supported itself, and it didn't fucking,
And I really like Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
I think, especially in a kid show like this, not explaining anything about the monster, it just showing up, being an angry monster, and it leaving room for the monster to still be there, that's scary.
And it had a very basic, you could deduce it just from, watching the show. But what is it? It like needs lint to fucking make its body. And so it's going to go around and eat lint. It ate lint that like fucking mattered to Bronson. And I was like, all right, yeah, internal logic means you don't need to spend a lot of time explaining shit. And like that's the nature of the fucking show. Is like, oh yeah, there's monsters.
And we also got nice hints at future things.
Yeah, like I actually really enjoyed that fucking weird interdimensional bit because like it hitting Bronson first is great because the world's just magic to him anyway.
Yeah.
So he's not going to think extra about seeing someone who just came from like the universe next door. Whereas like that's insane. That's a bigger issue than the lint monster.
And the smell sucker, because we've had an episode where Bronson had a fish in his dick and won swimming competitions and flew through the air like a helicopter. So
yeah,
we can only go up.
I am slightly dreading for the payoff of that. Like I'm not gonna lie, that does the idea of just him having jars of fart is just, because it's what it is. It's just like, oh yeah, just fart in a jar.
Yeah, because in the like first episode, he had in Show and Tell, he had like muscles, like rotting muscles.
That's right, yeah.
So we've obviously seen him attracted to bad smells.
Just that's gross and weird. Like that's really like, bad smells are one of those things that gets me. And it's just like I can cope with it, but like the idea of somebody being delighted by it, it makes me look at them like you should live under a bridge and away from me.
He probably will live under a bridge when he's older.
Yeah.
He lives in a lighthouse now. It's the natural progression.
It's just lighthouse to under the bridge. Because making me queasy thinking about that.
Mm.
I mean, because it does work. Like, I don't know how long you can keep them, but like when my brother and I realized that you could dry fire like the old Super Soaker 50s, the ones that you can't get anymore for some stupid reason, like you can just fart in one of those and screw it on, and then it stays in there. And you can pressurize it, and you've just got like this weaponized fart. Yeah, and like it works, and it sucks, because like if you're there minding your own business, because if you're worried that your brother's gonna fart in your face, you're concerned about his physical posture and presence.
Yeah.
Provided he's not like if he's arms lengths away and like we're playing video games or something.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that because if he gets up and tries to point his bum at me, I'll kick him over or run away. And like that's a gross movement. Pointing a super soaker at you is quick.
Yeah.
And before you even realize, because you see it, you think he's not going to squirt me inside. Like no one's that stupid.
No.
That's fucking suicide. Mum will yell at you. Like that's what's going on? Ben's got the fucking what? Ben, look, and then Ben's in trouble, and I get off scot free with whatever I've done.
Yeah.
And then it just goes psh, and it's like what the fuck? Ah.
Ugh.
Yeah. That like it. After a while, it was like we just got to call a moratorium on this because it's like it's getting out of hand.
That's fair. It's completely fair.
Bad.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bad, Amber, have you ever felt like this? Have you ever been stuck with a big clean? Ever felt the earth move? Ever had to tell someone something big? Have you ever been stuck with a big old clean?
I mean, lots of times. I've lived in houses, so whenever you move,
as opposed to under a bridge.
Yeah, when you move, generally, like you do bond cleans.
Yeah.
And those are generally big ass cleans.
I've been stuck with somebody else's. I've had someone just like ditch and just now it's like I gotta fucking clean your shit too.
Not really that I can think of.
So I've sort of had that every fucking time because like I've done bond cleans. I also did bond cleans for like a cash in hand job, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like I know how to fucking clean a place.
Yeah, that's fair.
And when I say dust the fucking room, I mean literally dust the fucking room. Don't just, I don't know. I honestly don't know what some of my housemates think dusting looks like.
Dust.
I don't think they even did that. Like they must have like just done the floor or something. Like I don't think they understand that you got to like get the duster and like touch the tops of things that you can't see.
Yeah.
Like because that's where the dust goes.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And so did you dust the room? Yes. Okay. And then I go in like when I'm doing the last fucking shit before I get into the fucking car and like drive to the new place, and just being like, oh, okay, this hasn't been done properly.
Yeah.
And then you can't just like rub it with a duster because then it's on the floor. So you got to go get like a wet cloth.
That again, the one time I think that springs to recent memory is the time we found mold on the walls that was hiding behind stuff.
That's funny.
That one, because like again we dismantled the room in preparation to build a new bed, and then there was just mold.
And
it's like, oh, this is now like a 3-hour longer job.
Yeah. Because you got to get the
expecting that.
The anti-mold shit.
So yeah, that's probably the big clean moment for me.
Like, yeah, I've had a few situations that weren't like personal, but just like someone called in to help, where like basically someone's just, I don't know, gone to live under a bridge and left the place filthy. And it's like, all right, well, the good thing is you just like, you pull up the fucking wheelie bin and just loads of stuff just gets thrown straight in the fucking wheelie bin. Cleaning's worse when you have to clean like around things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's the fuck ache.
When you're moving out and you can just get rid of everything in that room, it's like it becomes so much easier.
Well, like the whole downstairs area when we moved last, I just like had the pressure washer.
Yeah.
And just went like, off we fucking go. I was going to hit every fucking edge of this with the fucking pressure washer.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm probably just going to pay to get it done this time, though.
Honestly, like, paying a little bit is so much... If you can afford it, it is so much better. Because often, a real estate will come in and go, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And then, so you have to do
They'll
it
try
again.
to, like, fucking...
But every place that you pay has guarantees. So if they go, it's not good enough, you call that place back and go, hey... They said it's not good enough,
Yeah.
and they've got to come back, and they can't charge you
Well,
more.
I mean, the thing is, like, you're going to say to the bond people, the cleaning place, you and I both know they're lying.
Yeah.
You and I both know that the real estate's lying because they don't want to, like...
They don't want to pay you.
Yeah, they don't want to give you all your fucking bond back. Like, I have heard it's not as bad in Queensland. Like, I know there are some, like, particularly overseas, where they'll just take it as a matter of course, and you got to basically argue with them about, like, regardless of, whatever the fucking state of the place is.
I think one of the last times we moved, it was really bad. And it was like, they just kept going, no, it's not good enough. And it's like, there is nothing more to be done.
Yeah, you
this
have to
looks like
start-
a new place.
Yeah,
Do not give me that.
It's that thing that you got to, like, that, people who get into sort of real estate investment don't understand is, like, this is not an investment that cannot depreciate.
Yeah.
Like, it'll get over time, a house, regardless of what you're doing with it, is going to get dusty and messy, and, like, it's going to erode. Like, you don't get to go, oh, it has to be exactly like it was when I built it like 10 years ago. It's like, that's not going to fucking happen.
No.
And if you don't like that, then don't do this.
Don't get into property.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be fucking dealing with that in like 6 months or something, give or take. Oh, no. Not looking forward to it. But yeah, this time, because last time it was just, I did so much. And this time I'm just like, I'm not
Yeah. Yeah,
doing that again. I'm not playing the exciting game of explaining to you giblets what this shit means. So I'm just fucking paying someone to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, mightn't even have to, because I think they're renovating.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll probably just be like, look, if you're going to be knocking the walls down anyway, do we really have to do a whole goddamn drag out?
Yeah, exactly.
But I look forward to me complaining about that for the next 6 months. Have you ever felt the earth move? Because I technically have. Because when I was in Japan, it was about 6 months after the earthquakes disrupted everything, like the Fukushima and shit. That was in 2011, and there was apparently one solid aftershock that I was asleep for and didn't wake me up. So, but it was one of these weird situations where, like, there was apparently something happening while I was, like, standing up and doing stuff, but I just kind of didn't even. I think it was because I was outside, and so without the markers that my brain associates with earthquakes, like rumbling and shit, like, it's probably just fucking crap from TV. But it's like, without those, I don't know, maybe my body just sort of compensated for it, like, I'm just like, all right, I'm still on the ground and the sky's not moving, so okay, I guess nothing's happening. Because that just didn't really fucking, fucking didn't wake me up, didn't notice it when it was happening.
I don't think I've ever felt an earthquake or anything.
Australia being, like, just a bajillion-year-old rock that broke off from Pangaea, it's just like, no, it is very geologically inactive. Because Australia just floats on one big plate. There isn't much in the way of, like, plates and fractures that actually, bisect the fucking lump. Like, I did see, like, I think it was, like, some of the clearest footage of, like, plate shift recently. And it's, like, some security footage from some place. And you just see, like, the fence line, and then it's just someone grabs two bits of the country, just goes, and just shifts it. And that is fucking freaky to see. Coming as I do from Australia, that does not have a fucking, I think, like, look it up, actually. Like, to try and see, like, earthquakes in Australia, because I'm genuinely curious. I know that, like, New Zealand gets a few, but also it's fairly recent, like, New Zealand's a recent volcanic eruption. You go back a couple of weeks, New Zealand didn't exist. Whereas, like, I think Australia predates Earth.
Okay. Okay, list of significant earthquakes in Australia.
Yeah.
Victoria, 1855.
I mean, yeah, they could have just made that up.
All right, let's try to go recent.
Yeah.
Let's go 90s onwards. Like, there's quite a few recorded.
Really?
Oh, like, definitely old ones.
I think that one in Darwin or something, or am I mixing that up with something else? Fuck it.
There was in 1988 in Northern Territory, there was a earthquake. 2 buildings, 3 other structures damaged, caused to natural gas pipeline. Total damage 2.5 million.
It feels like something that was probably something to do with the natural gas pipeline.
3 earthquakes of between 6.3 and 6.7 on the Richter scale.
Huh. Where were those? Where were those? Oh, is that the Northern Territory?
Northern Territory.
All right. Huh.
Another Northern Territory one the next year. There was one in Newcastle
I vaguely remember the Newcastle one.
in 1989. 4 billion in damage.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Because nothing here is equipped for that.
Yeah, New South Wales 1994, Victoria 1996, South Australia 1997, Western Australia 1997. There seems to be but like most of these are like no damage felt.
Yeah.
Because they're off in like no man's land.
Yeah. It's just something hatching.
Let's look at like most recent.
Yeah, like what's something that's happened
2024, New South Wales, it was only 3.5.
Yeah, I don't think people even notice that.
Victoria in 2023, 5.0, moderate shaking felt as far as Melbourne. It was an aftershock. It looks like just a lot of Victoria and WA in recent times. I don't think... There was one in 2016 in Queensland. North Queensland, 5.8 magnitude.
That was just...
Southeast of Townsville.
This is Bob Catter angering the crocodile god.
Like, a lot of them are offshore.
That doesn't fucking count.
No, I know.
But I know it's not you. It's just like they're recording it, but like, yeah.
But yeah, like, there's hardly any in Queensland. They're all either down south or WA.
Nothing happens.
That's really funny.
The place resists events. And
it's bad enough that they have to live in WA. You got to give them earthquakes too.
I'm more worried about what's causing those. Because that's some kind of horrendous giant subterranean thing. Like some kind of colossal mole. One of those ones with the weird nose.
Yeah.
And, like it has no eyes. And it wants for nothing we can understand, so there's no subduing it.
Yeah.
The
mole hungers. What does it hunger for?
We don't know. Yeah, maybe it's hungry. I don't know. Maybe it's annoyed we're on its land. Who knows?
That's why we have the yearly sacrificing to the mole. We get a fresh virgin, and we're like, mole, take this virgin.
Here you go, mole. Have a loser. Seem to like him. All right. The mole is satisfied for another harvest. All hail the mole. Ever had to tell someone something big?
I came out as transgender, so yes.
I know, like, this is funny because literally all of them are you. None of this is me. I honestly struggle to think of any relevant fucking, like, just nothing is coming up. Absolutely hard zero. I have no major secrets, nothing fucking going on in my day. Zippity zip zip zilch, Whereas you've been married, divorced, had a kid, transitioned. It's all on you.
The world is cruel.
And funny. Because that is a very funny run of shit.
It is, yeah.
I've been there for like pretty much all of it, actually.
Yeah, very, very, that's actually very true.
Yeah. I remember you fucking getting absolutely poleaxed when you found out you'd knocked someone up.
Oh God, that was a bad night. I have never been that messed up.
No, yeah.
I don't know what. I know I was on speed. I do not know what else I was on.
The problem is like the speed will have made you not realize how much you were drinking.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, all the booze. You saw that happen to me when I was on the pills that time.
Yeah.
You're fine, and then all of a sudden you are not fine.
You feel like the best person in the world. Yeah. You're like, nothing can stop me. I'm going to drink 4 bottles of that. That seems like a good idea. That's so tasty. I love this.
And I'm not getting drunk. I must be fucking amazing. Yeah.
And then it's like, bam, in the stomach, bam, you're down. And it's like, just keeps punching you. Like, why? Why did I do this to myself?
Everything was going so well. Like I watched the cocaine wear off one of my old managers one time in real time.
God.
And watched him go from standing upright to kind of like structurally collapsing, but like his knees buckled, they hit each other, and then he just stayed up. And I'm pretty sure he was unconscious. That was great. He wound up like fucking slumping in a weird way, and then he was walking around kind of like E.T. Like it was wild.
Incredible.
It's one of those times where I sort of wish that like phone cameras were more prevalent back then. But then it's like also Gabriel, you were doing shit. So let's
sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah, we'll take the fucking we'll shake hands and say fair play.
Good Lord, like I think of all the shit that we've ever done and got up to, and just like thankful.
Last generation before cameras, the fucking internet and cameras, fucking.
Because nowadays you have like a video camera / high-powered digital camera in your pocket at all times.
One that will instantly put it where everybody else can watch it. Like, not even like in the old days where, someone might have a camcorder or something.
Yeah.
But, like, you've still got to, like...
You got to make copies. You got to distribute it.
Yeah, you'd have to, like, convince people to come over and look at it. You have to bring it with you and go, hey, look in the little viewfinder. It's like, I'm not doing that, man. Go away. Whereas, like, now, it's like, you fuck up. It's like, you can fuck up in Pakistan, and I'm here watching going, ha, you fucking idiot. Like, that's, like, I didn't have to worry about that. None of those problems for me. I didn't have to get, like, branded with some stupidity from when I was 12. Oh, fucking blessings, man.
Yeah.
Like, that is not a day goes by. Like, I feel like, in general, it's like, this is one of those ones, like, there are times when, like, you got to adapt shit, and there are times when you got to adapt. That's one of those ones where it's just like, you've got to be a little gentler with people like this. Like, it's okay to break balls, but, like, you got to pick people up and be like, look, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're one of a bajillion people who are going to do that this week.
Yeah.
You know? Like, even if you're the main character for 5 seconds, just, for doing something stupid, like, all you got to do is go, oh, well, and then everyone will move on. Because someone's already doing something fucking else, And this is, we just got to be a little gentler with particularly the youth.
Yeah.
Because, oh, God.
Yeah.
So glad. So fucking glad. Like, imagine every fucking cringy, stupid fucking thing.
Oh.
I
don't want to.
I know. Like, that's the best part. If you don't, guess what happens? It disappears. It never
goes
happened.
away. It might be spoken softly in urban legend between friends.
No one can prove it.
But no one can prove it.
No one can, like, remix it with songs on TikTok. Hey, there's no, like, just you fucking lip syncing a song you loved, or, like, there's none of that, beautiful archive of, like, clear evidence that you were some kind of fruit. Like, just, there's none of that. It's just, there's like, maybe some photos in an album somewhere. And, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Ain't no one ever going to see it. Ain't no one ever going to care. Oh, boy. Yeah, because otherwise, I'd literally just, I don't know, big. Like, I don't know, fucking nothing. Like, can you think of anything? Maybe I'm blocking. I don't know. I mean, what am I going to do?
I think, like, the biggest thing you've ever done, like, as far as, like, tell someone is, like, being sober.
Yeah, I suppose that's about it, really.
Yeah.
But also, that's not like,
No, I know. I know.
Really? No one's allowed to make fun of you for that. Like,
no.
Yeah. It's not like, fucking, because your mom's had like probably a solid decade of just dealing with you showing up with shit to say. It's like, she must get tense whenever you go, hey, can we talk? It's like, Christ, what is it now? Like, what the fuck now?
Yeah.
Because I imagine is there another kid, like, when you were going, like, explaining the transgender things, it's like, oh, God, you've knocked someone up again, haven't you?
No, she knew. She knew.
Oh, that's nice. Well, look, I'm sorry, but ever felt like this can only be what's in the episode.
Yeah,
but the good news is this is why we have people write to us, so now we can.
So I can feel better about my life.
Because sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me. We can both enjoy laughing at them.
Absolutely.
Hello there, Amber and Gabe. Gnome here. Fantastic. I hope you two are doing wonderfully. As far as driven a car when I should not have, the story comes to mind of when a group of friends and I were at the AMT guard event. I don't know what that is. It's like it's a word, but amped guard.
AMT.
GARD. Maybe it's like German or some shit.
Okay, let me have a look. We need context for this.
Yeah, like AMT GARD.
Okay, it is a battle gaming and live action fantasy role playing and buffer combat game with chapters primarily based in the United States, Canada, as well as Germany, Croatia, and South Korea.
We were all more than a few beers in and decided that a car was very much like a horse. And a PVC pipe covered in foam was essentially a lance.
Oh, no.
So we grabbed 2 of our sturdiest cars and 2 of our longest pole arms and load up with a driver and rider for each. To this day, I am impressed we didn't hit any bystanders or trees in the campground parking lot, but we did get the organizers of the event a bit miffed at us. As long as we promised never to do something like this at their event ever again, we were spared being thrown out, but we did have to go sleep it off. Yeah, look, if I was doing anything, if I had like some kind of like fucking responsibility and I walked out into the parking lot and there were people doing that, I would be very upset.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because, I mean, bare minimum, one of you idiots is likely to die. For not having proper adult supervision, that was my childhood.
Well,
I was the responsible kid in the family by virtue of being the oldest, but that just means I did my stupid crap before the others were born. Like when I tried to build a death ray out of a laser pointer, a collection of, quote, crystal glasses, and some quartz crystal. Decided I was taking too long to destroy my target, an old box, and deciding to cut out the middleman and blow the box away the old-fashioned way with some black powder I found in the shop. But the best example was when my uncles and I made an automatic saw for making cedar planks. Are you some kind of like weird Amish that like have a, different technology level or something? Like,
you see, they went the Age of Empires route. It's like, when they hit the Bronze Age, they were like, the Amish age.
Yeah, like the Amish had to stop in like the 1800s. You guys were allowed to stop in like the 30s. You're allowed to have like some petrol-powered stuff, but it really is dangerous explosions spinning a wheel. We took the engine out of an old truck, welded it to a frame, made out of some bits of metal we found. Where the fucking Fallout outpost do you live in? And attached a bandsaw blade we had liberated from an old sawmill. We then made the planks we needed and spent the afternoon throwing things.
This has to be Croatia or Germany.
Yeah, where the fuck do you have old sawmills around? Into the bandsaw blade to see what would happen. Like, what do they need the planks for? Make a new sawmill. As for looting a shop, I used to work as a call center supervisor, and instead of offering decent pay or bonuses, we had a small shop you got the company points to spend on things. Wow, I didn't know places did company stores. That's wild. Mostly shirts or little stress balls, but if you were a lunatic squirrel and hoarded your points, you could get a speaker or toaster oven. So when the pandemic hit, I was part of the team that dismantled our presence in the building, and we were transitioning to fully work from home. I stole so much crap. I took boxes of candy, a toaster oven I still have, a Bluetooth speaker that broke in 2 weeks, and more that I cannot remember. Suckers aren't going to pay me enough to have strangers yell slurs at me, and I damn sure going to take it out of their pocket somehow. Anyways, I adore what you two do, and listening to you is the bright point of my day when you come out with an episode like Ever Felt Like This, or put out a video. Keep being rad. Regards, Gnome Pickles.
It's Gnome Pickles. I know Gnome Pickles.
Just call me Canada. Dear Amber and Gabe, in response to the question, have you ever driven when you shouldn't have? When I was 3 years old, my father was taking my sister, at this time age 4 or 5, and I on a camping trip. He had nearly loaded up all the camping gear. My sister was buckled into the back seat, and I was strapped up and buckled into a child/baby car seat next to her. Now, I do remember doing this, but only vaguely. I half remember this story and half remember being told about this happening. My dad put the keys in the ignition and walked away to grab one last thing. I, in my brilliant 3-year-old mind, and what I would call an impressive feat of mimicking adult behavior, decided to unbuckle myself, crawl into the front seat, start the car, put it in gear, automatic obviously, and then proceed to leap down off the seat onto the gas pedal. The car flew maybe 2 meters right into the front of the house, doing $2,000 worth of damage to the brick and basement windows. Love your channel. Love this show. Keep it twisty.
Hey, thank you.
My brother did that. He didn't get the car started, but he took off the parking brake and it rolled back, because we had a hill for a driveway, and it just rolled down the hill, went through the fence across the road, hit a tree.
That's funny.
And he was he was insanely young, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you managed to do all that is sort of nuts. Hi, Twists. Have you ever acted? I was in a few plays and drama, including getting typecast in an inoffensive role, though I also got to be a terrorist once, which was pleasant.
Okay.
I even did drama as an elective in high school, but the absolute funniest thing was a script reading the class did in Year 12 English. This was about the horrendous abuses of the Aboriginal children kidnapped by the state and then adopted to white families. You know, important to look at, and obviously a class of teenagers is exactly the group that can handle this delicate matter in a sensible way. So for this reading, my role was one of the Aboriginals, and there was a section where they've grown up and there's a lot of racism and hostility between people. So for this school activity, someone has to call me, a white person, the N-word, and I get to reply by calling them a white cunt. At the time, it was a bit awkward, but in retrospect, it's fucking hilarious. But also a useful topic to discuss. And going forward, I will tell people that Australian-specific script was required reading for all Australian public schools, complete with telling kids to use the N-word. Take care, Crystal.
Thanks,
like,
Crystal.
That's just un-Australian. Aborigines aren't N-words.
No.
They're coons. You're going to at least use meaningful slurs for local ethnic groups. Shocking, I tell you. I have felt like this. What and lo, Twistlings, call me dog, or I'll throw ghosts at you. I have indeed
What
felt
if I want
like
ghosts? Did you think that through?
Yeah.
What if I hoard them? I need them for the ecto power.
Is that some kind of hormone? Yeah, I'm on ecto chewables. Things can now just phase through my penis. I once acted in a supremely shithouse local access TV program put together by a guy I once went to church with.
Ooh.
I fucking almost want to find that. We'll call him No Brows. I really want to find that. The props budget didn't exist. Nobody knew how to act. Nobody knew how to write a joke with anything a human mind could pass as wit. And I have to wonder how No Brows got any of this off the ground, because there was presumably a buy-in or an elevator pitch he'd have to provide. And what shameful feces we spawned wouldn't have passed muster for any self-respecting channel. God and God's willing, it's gone for good off the face of the earth. I've never been locked in anything yet, and so I haven't felt like that. Thank you for eating my sins. Adversarially, dog. I don't know, man. I kind of want to find it.
I definitely want to find it.
Oh, here's an addendum. I forgot to include the bit about a task long put off. I studied magic, which is to say the occult and esoteric arts for several years before putting it into practice. Coincidentally, at the same time, I got really into fitness and working out. It feels good to call myself a meat mage. Okay.
Fantastic.
Good day to you, Twisted Siblings. I hope you are having a terrific day. I have indeed felt like this. I have been locked in a place. In my childhood, I made the cupboard under the stairs at my grandparents' house a little reading nook and hiding space to just go when I was done with the world. That's funny. It was very deep, or at least for a kid, and I could hide behind a good deal of pots and pans, and even had some plugged-in Christmas lights I could use to make a little reading light. With an old comforter, a container of animal crackers, and some good 1950s sci-fi I borrowed from Grandpa, it was heaven. That is very funny. One day my 8-year-old brain goes, I need to be done with the day, and crawled into my cupboard to read. Someone sees the cupboard unlatched and decides to latch it without thinking. I discovered this when I decided that the crackers I had needed a little bit of cheese, but I could not escape. I decided this was fine because it meant I was stuck in there and I couldn't be expected to do anything else, and I was already just kind of done with the day. Unbeknownst to me, Mum was quite put out by the idea that her child had been missing for several hours. After hours of frantic searching, Mum finally tried the lock, found me reading, and seemed torn about wanting to murder me for hiding away, and relief that I had not been taken by the weird neighbors to be eaten or whatever it was she expected a family of weird country people with more wrecked cars on their lawn than teeth. As far as the tasks have been put off, there is a beast shed.
What?
Uh-huh. The beast shed started life as a mid-sized black van that stopped working. It then became a home for the goats.
What?
This keeps taking sharp-angled turns away from what I understand reality to be.
The word shed has been said like twice, and I still don't
Beast
understand.
shed, and then it's a van that stopped working. So I wasn't expecting the shed to have been a previous van, and then it became a home for the goats. Goats are adorable and love attention, but they also love pooping and stamping down on hay. So after many years, my grandparents informed me that the beast shed needed to be cleared out, and that they were going to be busy fixing the roof of the barn. That task was mine. Okay, there's a barn involved. The goats live in the van/shed and not the barn for probably good reasons. I don't know. Fortunately, most of the poop was pulverized and dry, so the smell, while the stuff of nightmares, was not apocalyptic. It took me about 2 hours to loosen enough of what I could see of the original bottom of the van, which was about 1.5 feet down. Jesus. The goats were thrilled with the extra space, and after I had spread out some of the new bedding for them, Deinonychus, the goat I had named after a vicious raptor, decided to thank me by lowering his head and racking it up swiftly to pull me in closer so he could bite me. I still have a scar from the bite. Not the worst day, but then not optimal. For acting, I have been a bit player in a few things, but there is a story about how I kidnapped a fellow student while playing her father. Oh, good lord. We were in a lit class focusing on drama, and so we're doing an abridged King Lear, as the professor thought acting would give us a better appreciation than just reading it. I was playing the king, and there was a bit where I'm supposed to go crazy and pull Cordelia, the king's favorite daughter, away by her hand. I decided, as a rational 20-year-old... You're in lit class. All right, it's got to be uni, but like still. I'm picturing high school. Maybe you're 20 in high school. To pick the young woman up and put her on my shoulders in a fireman's carry, kick open the door, shout my line, and run off down the hall with her to her screaming delight. Or horror, one of the two. We came back to the classroom and found some people dialing campus police in terror. Not my finest moment, but I got a cute girl to giggle and got a phone number or two out of it. If you ever make it to the Pacific Northwest of the United States, I owe you to a coffee and a handshake. Stay safe and keep twisting. Probably not these days. No.
The Americas is dangerous for me. Yeah.
And we're right after we tour scenic Somalia.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
From a Keep It Classy fan. Have you ever acted in anything? Yes, I am going to exclude the stories about school days. Everyone will have those. Oh, look at you. During my last year of high school... Hey! My parents gave me one creative career path they would support before only supporting practical career paths from my teenage years onward. I chose acting. To their credit, they reached out to several agencies in Central California, and I did manage to get an audition or two. Those fell through, and secretly I was glad. Going into an audition room with several other parents and miserable-looking kids was a grim eye-opener. Even at that age, I can see the parents that just wanted to live off their children's not-yet-existing commercial success. Oof. While I never did strike it big with any agencies, I did manage to worm my way into a filmmaking group in college as a personal assistant. I had a few blurry walk-on background roles in a couple of college film festival submissions, but nothing too interesting. Final notes. While I never made it as an actor, one kid I did meet during those years was Kyle Swan, who went on to play the bully Billy Loomer in Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Nice guy. I don't know what that is.
No idea.
During my time as a PA in college film groups, I met more than a few pretentious wannabe filmmakers. I remember one guy who was deeply inspired by David Lynch screaming at actors during his shoots. If you're inspired by David Lynch, you wouldn't be screaming at your actors. He was expelled after attempting to lock a student in a closet.
I see.
From what I heard from the victim, it was meant to be emotional preparation for a scene, which I think would be more of a Kubrick move. What do you think? Yeah, definitely. About the only piece of, that I really do truly support was Kubrick fucking with George C. Scott for, Dr. Strangelove. Basically, the entire movie, George C. Scott's character, General Buck Turgidson, is acting like a complete maniac. And those were meant to be, Kubrick got him to do that with the promise that it wasn't going to be used. He was like, I want you to act like a complete, Zane Ball for this, take, and we'll just, to get the energy up to get it, and then you can act sensibly, and then we'll do it. And then he used all the fucking, loony footage. And he said he was never going to work with Kubrick again, and he didn't, but the loony footage is fantastic. And it also is an important part of what makes the film. And all you did was act like a loony. It's not like he locked you in a fucking cupboard. It's not like he put, a fucking tent of, laughing gas over your head. I get you don't trust him, fine. But still. These days, I work in the video game industry. I attempted to see if I could get a voice role in one of the studio's games. Turns out you need to be part of the Screen Actors Guild. There's a lot of legal mumbo-jumbo around that, even for just basic-ass NPC lines. This probably applies less to indie studios, but anything AAA apparently requires it. Have you ever completed a task you put off for a long time? Yeah, I'm not proud of this. When I moved close to the Hollywood area, I lived above a restaurant with a fairly low health standards. It got rats pretty often. Thankfully, though, I lived high enough up to where I didn't really enter my apartment. One, however, did. It snuck up to the cupboard below my bathroom sink. I managed to get a glass bowl from the fridge and trap the rat. I ran out of ideas about what to do with it, though, so I removed any necessary things, closed the cupboard, and vowed never to open the cupboard again. I went as far as placing a metal box under the cupboard so he couldn't chew his way out and escape. Then it was time to move out, and I had to deal with this rat I had forgotten about for nearly a year. Oddly, I expected the smell of a dead rat to eventually be a problem, but it wasn't as far as I noticed. I didn't have the guts to deal with it myself, so I called up an exterminator on moving day and told him it was the last thing to deal with in the apartment. Made an excuse not to be around that day, and left the door unlocked. I left money behind and drove back to Central California. I got several voicemails from the exterminator, but at that point, I was leaving and never coming back, so I ignored them. Have you ever been locked in anything? When I was 6, my older brother had started a water balloon war with the neighborhood kids. As the loyal little brother, I was eager to help. He took me to a closet and said, "Hide in here, I'll call you when we're ready," and locked me inside. I wasn't afraid of the dark or tight spaces, so I just sat in the closet plotting out water balloon tactics in my head. Eventually, he let me out when it was all over. At the time of writing, I reached out to my brother to ask if he remembered that day. Turns out there was a water balloon fight, but it was short-lived, and putting me in a closet was mostly to keep me from getting large amounts of pot smoking that happened afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Twisted Siblings. Trent here. Okay.
You say Trent or Trent?
Like Trynt. I'm pronouncing it as Trent.
Okay.
It's not Trent.
Okay.
I have been a fan of the channel for over 7 years and counting. I thought I'd finally chime in since these questions are too good to pass up. Have you ever acted in anything? If you count playable tabletop RPGs...
You know we don't.
I know, right? Like, as my first one. No! Nobody does! I've played a few tabletop RPGs. It's time to get my SAG card. Then yeah. Having ran tables as a DM or being a player for another person's table, generally I'm around people who like to get into character. It's nothing enforced, but it does feel fun to play so many different types of characters depending on the setting. I also did voice acting for a short-lived series of YouTube reviews, which unfortunately aren't up anymore. Otherwise, I'd rightfully embarrass myself by sending you 12-year-old me giving it the best shot. Although the narration series I did for the now dead Flash game Die Tonight is still up on my channel.
Oh.
Have you ever completed a task you've put off for a long time? Yes! Exercise and writing are two things that are hard to keep consistent, thanks to God putting ADHD in my character sheet. Exercise being motivated out of making myself less of a barge ass. Living in the US with our national food, high fructose corn syrup, for health and self-esteem. It was made easier to pursue when I realized I was a femboy. I don't know a lot about the femboys. It must be confusing for the older generations that like transgenders and femboys kind of erupted at the same time. Because that is hard. You know? It's like you just looking at some fruit, it's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Is that a femboy that's going to want me to go sir, or is that a woman? I don't know.
Who knows?
Oi, fruit.
You do you.
Oi, fruit.
I do know.
I say you over there.
I do
the
know
fruity disposition.
There are quite a lot of
I figure
adult creators in that space that like go by femboy because they make more money
than like as transgenders.
As transgender women. Because like I don't know, that's just what a lot of people are into. It's just really feminine boys. But then a lot of them just come out as women later on.
I know, like, see, that was...
after they've got their bag.
Like, well, because I always figure, like, there's got to be a fair few who are, like drag.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be a lot of drag performers for whom it's not like, you know, there'll be some that transition, but, like, mostly it's just gay dudes, you know, piss farting around.
Yeah.
And the same with a bunch of other, you know, the rest of it. But then, like, sometimes it's like, you know, this feels like a step to...
It can go either way. Like, I think a lot of point is like... A lot of them get on estrogen because at the point, it's like, especially when they start getting older, it's like if you've got male genes, it's like your hair's gonna start going, your figure's gonna start.
I mean, mine
going.
won't because I have fantastic hair genes. But
but that's the roll of the dice, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, my shoulders are too broad for femboy.
Just you do you. You be true to you. Do whatever you want.
Where are we? I was curious because, like, I don't know. I figured, like, the thick femboys, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the fucking deal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a femboy is just essentially
a feminine guy,
a male who's super feminine.
Yeah. Well, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you got tits, you know.
Yeah, if they get on estrogen, yeah.
Almost 100 pounds lost from last year, and now I'm sitting around 195 yank pounds. I intend on losing more.
Damn, good for you.
Yeah, what is that in, like, normal measurement?
Let's have a look.
Because 295, I know 295 is heavier than me. Like, 295 pounds is fairly heavy.
195 is 88 kilos.
All right, yeah. All right. Because, yeah, like, I think about 95. I go between 95 and 100, depending on how much I've eaten that day, really.
Like, 295 was 130.
Yeah, like, that's hefty.
Yeah.
That's, you're talking, like, you're getting into front rower territory there. Because I did see one thing once. It was on Pornhub and it just said femboy workout. And now normally I'd assume that was just going to be like aggressive butt sex. But this had a tag. It had 2 visible tags, solo and non-penetration. And I'm like, it was just workout advice. Yeah. And here's the thing, because I'm like, all right, that's fascinating. Because like, what is it? And it's all these weird posture things so you can work out like just your glutes without building too much of your thigh muscle and shit like that. And it's like, that's actually fucking clever. Because like, like all my glute exercises are squats and shit, which are also going to build your fucking thighs.
Yeah.
Whereas like this is, not, you want the slender leg look apparently. And so like, it's just these weird fucking things. Like this is literally just targeted glute workouts.
No, screw that. Shit. I want my thighs to end worlds.
Where are we? All it took was jogging 30 minutes every couple of days and changing up my diet. I even followed a femboy fitness guide. Oh, there we go. And the couch 5K chart was legitimately helpful. I also worked in regular weightlifting into my routines and have shown remarkable progress from previous years of my life. Feeling healthier every day just as all the motivation to keep at it. With writing, I ran into a similar funk to Gabe due to daily routines changing when I started restaurant work at 19. I always lamented not finishing projects I've left on the back burner. In the last year, I've managed to naturally work in writing through my phone, as annoying as it can be compared to keyboards, when I'm caught up or bored at work, and usually get in 2 hours of writing before bed. I work on all sorts of things, from fanfics, a homebrew tabletop setting born out of my history fixations and collaborative writing projects with my friends. It really helped bring the wind back in my sails, and seeing people's reactions helped keep the motivation strong. I've also got the scripts for several video game reviews and works for more obscure games, so I guess the grind never ends. Ever been locked in anything? More like locked between something. Okay? Being born with a giga noggin, I managed to get my head stuck between 2 bars when I was 4 years old. Excellent. There were bars for the handicap ramp at a local church. Even better. My friend at the time probably stuck their head through too, and being bored as kids, I guess I could do it. That would prove to be my downfall. I'm not sure how long I was stuck for. Maybe an hour or 2 at most.
Oh.
That's a long fucking time.
That's a long time.
I mean, if my head was stuck somewhere for more than 5 minutes, I'd be like, all right, this is a problem.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. Mum tried to get me out and stopped after realizing how wedged I was. It freaked my dad out enough that as soon as he got home, he ran out of his car and I assume adrenaline helped him bend the bars. As far as I know, those bars are still bent when we moved houses 6 months later. That's fucking great. An hour or 2. Parishioners, the big head child is trapped in the bars again. Does anybody have a clamp? Or some kind of jack? There's my batch of Ever Felt Like This for this time. Here's some sappy sentimental crap to end it off. Amber, seeing you transition and live your best life has been really powerful. I can relate with the I'm a minority, I don't need this heat feeling, given how some online cliques have been. I've always found your jokes to be incredibly funny. I still think about the nanny intro parody you did for that Weedcraft game ages ago.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you.
And you two have great comedic chemistry. And seeing how far Gabe turned his life around from wasteful drinking to righteous protein beast with a teaching degree has also been inspiring. I grew up in borderline poverty, so hearing about some of this is neat. Hope to mail in again soon. With the best I can go back into the content mines, Trent. Trent makes more sense as a femboy name. Now that I have that context,
absolutely,
it's like if some fanboy says my name's Trent, I'd be like, okay,
oh yeah,
that makes sense.
It's a very unique name. I've never heard it before.
Yeah, well, it feels like what I'd expect, like some kind of fucking hairless elf to be called in Cyberpunk or something, or not Cyberpunk, like Shadowrun. It's like I'm Trent, the hairless elf boy. It's like okay. I'm not going to question a single bit of that. All right, that's it for today.
Nice. We had some nice letters today.
A good pile. So remember to send your letters to I have felt like this, all lowercase, at yahoo.com. It's I have felt like this, all lowercase, at yahoo.com. And today's questions are, when Word feels like fucking reloading it. Any minute now. Hold on. Pull Duchess. You can do it. There we go. Have you ever been stuck with a big clean? Ever felt the earth move? Ever had to tell someone something big? Send your answers to I have felt like this at yahoo.com and we'll make fun of your life.
And by the grace of God, we will judge you.
I know, because that's That's one we can sort of, add Trent the big-headed femboy to like my team of less men.
You know what? I watched. I stumbled across the other day. You remember the guy who did the Street Fighter red tape videos? Where they're trying to like approve the fighters to
the American guy, yeah,
comedian.
Yeah.
I found
I can't remember his name. It's going to drive me. Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes, yeah. He did one on the X-Men. Oh God, it was funny.
It doesn't surprise me. Actually, it makes perfect sense to do one on the X-Men.
But yeah, those videos are hilarious because like he's interviewing the Street Fighter cast. And like it's like a marketing department and stuff, and they're supposed to jazz them up to put them in this tournament. He's talking to Dalsim, and he's like, "Are those skulls around your neck?" And he's like, "Yes, they are the skulls of the children in my village." And he's like, "Those are baby skulls." It's like that's not a good image. And he's like, "And what's with yoga? You can't just say put yoga in front of it. Did you even know what yoga is?" And he's like, "You say yoga fire. What does that mean?" And Guile, he's like, you weren't really in the army, were you? Where did you train? Boot camp, boot.
That's right, because wasn't like Joel McHale Guile?
Joel McHale was Guile.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Boot camp, boot.
And like Bison wanting to fly every single person to their country of origin to fight.
That's
and
right.
He's like,
because I think you showed me that one, and it's like, this is not how you organize a tournament.
No, we can have this in like Seattle and have it like cost $10,000.
You're flying everyone to like a different. That's what the Queensland Olympics is going to be. It's like the airplane noise, and then Townsville, and then now you go. This is where you're doing equestrian shit.
That's your homework.
Oh
people
God,
at home, you need
to
go to YouTube and put in Street Fighter red tape because it's funny and watch it, and then get back to us.
And remember, send your answers to ihavefelt-like-this@yahoo.com. I have been Gabriel Twist.
I have been Amber Twist.
And keep watching The Lighthouse.
It's gonna eat you.